I recently heard of some polymer clay that wasn't as fragile as Super Sculpy. It's called CosClay, and so I purchased some. It ends up being both crumbly and gooey to work with. At least this Deco line. I'd like to get my hands on some of the other brand versions of it, but they were all out of stock and where I could purchase it from. But anyway, so I wanted to test out if I could mix it with Super Sculpey so I could get rid of some of that tackiness and add in a little bit more of the ability to retain detail, as the straight CosClay Deco here is doesn't retain detail well. It's very sticky and very hard to really get good smoothness out of it because it sticks to your finger as you rub it across. So this is going to be a quick, well, not really a quick, but this is going to be a rundown of what I did to do the tests, and also I'll throw up the chart here shortly after I show you what the test is, and then afterwards there's going to be a long stint which I'll fast forward, but to give you an idea of what it takes to work with the clay, just in case you're curious, and what my process was of testing it, because it's definitely not a thorough test, but it gives me a rough idea, maybe give you a rough idea of what you can get out of the clay if you need to. Alright, so we're going to start with the pure CosClay versus the pure Sculpy Firm, and then we'll move to the 1/8 mixes, the quarter mixes, and the half mixes. The darker ones are 1/8 of CosClay, and the lighter ones are the 1/8 of Super Sculpy. I'm going to attempt to bend, holding from the center point here, and see how much deflection we can get. This is going to be the first attempt, so we'll see how much deflection this will end up giving us. Oh, it's quite flexible. It definitely gives us more than 45 degrees. Alright, so maybe again, starting with 100% pure CosClay, and trying to see how far we can bend it, and before it breaks. Alright, it looks like this can do a full 90 degrees at 100%. Alright, this is the Sculpy, and this is going to probably not bend very much. It may have deflected to this first marking. We'll have to take a look in the camera and see if it shows up, but I'd say at most this 2.8 degree is where I'm thinking it showed up. Alright, and I go with the 1/8 of Super Sculpy added to CosClay, so this is primarily Super Sculpy. Okay, see how far it'll deflect. If we lose any rigidity, nope, it does start to tear. So at some point it started to tear. Well, hopefully the video will have caught that. I don't know that it will have. For future tests we'll have to zoom in a bit. Alright, this is mostly Sculpy, 1/8 CosClay. What have we got out of it? Well, it's definitely more flexible, pretty significantly considering. It's like 11 degrees. Yeah, about 11 degrees of deflection with that. Now we're going to move to 1/4 Super Sculpy, 3/4 CosClay. So much softer. And maybe there was just a defect in the last one. This one's starting to tear. Maybe just past 45 degrees. There's a small tear there. This is going to a quarter CosClay, so 3/4 Super Sculpey, 1/4 CosClay. Well, not much better than the 1/8, honestly. Felt like 11 degrees. And then these are both a half of each. No, looks like somewhere after 22 degrees it started to rip. We'll zoom in a little bit more for the final one because this is a repetition. And this is the same mixture. The shape is a slightly different shape, but it's the best I could do. So again, trying to do the half mark and see how much bend we get. Well, there's a little rip on the bottom when you got past 45. We can see it, but just a tiny little tear. So that is that. After looking back at the footage, this is the data that I came up with. You can see obviously as you add more CosClay to the Super Sculpey, the amount you can bend it or the degree of deflection increases. It's a very rough guess because none of the bends were perfect and I wasn't holding it in a very good way, but close enough, I think. The important thing to note is that with the percentage of CosClay as little as the 12.5%, you can still get almost 20, somewhere around 20 degrees of deflection, which I think is plenty to keep your sculpture from being fragile, which is really what I was looking for. Because oftentimes I work on something, I don't need it to bend, but I just don't want it to break quite so easily. The rest of the footage in this video is just going to be me working with the clay to get it into the correct shape so you can see what I did and also get an idea of how it is to work with the CosClay. You can see it's quite crumbly as I first work with it, and then as I run it through the pasta maker, you'll see it get more and more malleable until it becomes actually the gooey, which is, I mean, better than crumbly, but still it's a bit hard to work with by itself.